Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Ramble Pack podcast. We talk a bit about Nintendo and their business practices with their contractors, Nvidia representing a lot of their sales numbers, and Embracer Group's purchase of a handful of Square Enix's developers, plus a little bit about Overwatch 2's beta's numbers.
Let's get on with the show!
Alright. So I think I'm ready.
Okay.
So I didn't ask this when we first got on, but how was your week? Busy?
It was busy. It was good up until yesterday, but yesterday and today, obviously. But I couldn't imagine that situation being well.
Yeah.
The only bright side to it, it was good seeing the amount of people that turned out, at least for the week. But
So sad news.
Yeah, she was a nice lady. She made sure, because she used to work at the cafeteria at UMass, and she always made sure that we got fed. She didn't care. She'd get in trouble with UMass all the time. She's like, no, these kids are getting fed. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, kids need to eat.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
All right.
Nothing fun? Nothing interesting? Nothing sad? Or not sad?
I'm just boring dad this week. No, I'm stoked about one of their half anniversary on the Slime Isekai game. They're
Oh, we're
they
back
have
onto
they're
this
really
game again?
Oh, I've been on that game forever.
Alright, I want a weekly update on it as you play. Just because every single week you have to talk about it. So, weekly update.
You're asking me how my week's gone.
You played every week? I want to hear what's going on each week.
Well, this month they're doing the half anniversary, and 3 of their gotcha characters for this month, their abilities are very OP. And
sounds like a standard anniversary event for a lot of things.
Yeah, one of them that was a pain in the ass for me to get. I think I had to pull maybe 10, 15 times before I could get her. And one of her abilities is, because the turns of the game ties into the mechanics of other functions, her ability stops the turn. Like, you can technically replay the turn and the turn never ends,
Okay.
so long as the ability goes through.
Mm-hmm.
And in combination with, if I understood it correctly, I haven't tried it myself because I've seen a whole bunch of people on Facebook in the group that I'm in to get like little pointers and stuff like that. You combine her ability with the other two characters, their abilities stack over and over and over and over again, to the point where the powerhouse hitter, the actual attacker out of the 3, can do damage into like the 100,000. Why somebody would be doing that till God knows that to get it to that point, I have no idea. Mind you, for reference, normal attacks are between 1,500 to 2,000.
Maybe you just need someone to one hit everything.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. I'm not going to sit there half an hour just to do that.
Well, a lot of people like playing RPGs just like seeing the big numbers, so that makes sense.
Fair enough. I think I did that with Final Fantasy X when I found out you could go into other people's grids. Basically, once I beat the main story of the game, I just tried to complete everybody's grids at that point. And it's just, yeah. At some point, you're just hitting 999,000.
That just makes me think of like how broken the magic system in Final Fantasy VIII was. Because if you just keep stealing a bunch of the same magics and then like tie it to certain abilities, you can just hit 99999 straight.
Oh Jesus, yeah. And I think the limit break system, the way they have it set up, that one was broken too. Because I think I ended up getting, unless I'm completely wrong, I want to say, is it Renoa? The girl with the dog.
Yeah, that's
Is it
Renoa.
Renoa?
Yep.
I ended up getting her ultimate ability, her ultimate limit break or whatever, at the beginning of the game, or something like that, because of how broken the limit break system was.
Okay.
And I was like, yay!
Well, that sounds like a fun week. Just
I'll
for
take it.
fun, what's the name of the game again? Like if people want to download it.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime isekai. Let me go to
And how do you spell isekai?
Isekai.
Okay.
What about you?
Not a damn thing. This week we just started my other class, so it's getting the first week of work done. Destiny 2 had their Guardian Games event start on Tuesday.
Okay.
It's like the Guardian Olympics, basically. You just earn medals doing things in game, and like it pits all three classes against each other.
Oh, okay.
It's fun for a short while. Gives you something different to do, break up what you're doing. And Halo Infinite had Season 2 start this week, too.
I'm never big on Halo, to be honest.
Me neither until I played Halo 2. And I think I told you a few weeks ago, like, I played it religiously and was on a couple teams playing before. Like, Megan watched me do a free-for-all tournament at PAX East a couple of years ago.
Oh, shit.
On Halo 4, yeah. It was fun. But yeah, just checking out those two since it started this week. Checked out Trek to Yomai, which was pretty fun. I still got to play some more of that.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Not too long of a game, too, but it's just the aesthetic of the game and how it looks and stuff is cool. The combat mechanics are a little iffy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from it. It doesn't detract too much from the game itself. It's fun. If you get a chance, I suggest try it.
I will. Listen, you're making my list of games I need to try longer and longer, and Callie's gonna kick my ass.
I can list off a million games for you to try if you want. Depends on what you're looking for. I sound like a drug dealer, but for games. What are you looking for? I got some of this over here, and I got this for you. You want a little bit of this?
You got some of that Final Fantasy stuff? Maybe a little Kingdom Hearts?
Oh my god.
And Callie's rolling her eyes.
You fiending for the next one?
Oh Jesus, I can't wait. To be honest, I'm still thinking about those trailers. I actually want to see how the mobile game's gonna turn out because it looks awesome on the video, but it could be something completely different when it actually hits.
Wait, for which game? I missed it.
Oh my God, what? Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. The mobile
we're back.
game
God
that
damn it, we're back on Kingdom Hearts.
Oh no, that's what you were asking. That.
I just said you're fiending for the next game. I didn't know I meant Kingdom Hearts.
Come on, you know that's my guilty pleasure right there. Come on.
Yeah, you and 10 million other people.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, I remember people not being super excited about Kingdom Hearts 3 after it came out. Like, they were just upset about it. Like, they were happy it was out, and then it didn't live up to their expectations.
I'm one of them, to be honest. I enjoyed it for what it was, but the fact that it took this long just to get what we got, I think it's one of those things that the hype was built up for so long that I'm good.
Oh, and I think I mentioned this too. We're getting ready to go on our vacation on Tuesday because we're going to Michigan for my niece's birthday.
Ooh. How old is she turning?
10.
Oh,
Finally hitting double digits. Yeah. Get to go see the new baby niece again before we have ours.
Oh, jeez. Baby.
That's all Amelia's been asking about.
Oh. What's her baby cousin or her baby sister?
Everything. She wants to hang out with my niece. She wants to see the baby over there. She wants Lauren to come.
Well,
Just all that.
hey, she's into her family.
Give her a little bit of a taste of what the new baby's going to be like, just so that way she knows what to expect.
Right.
So
I think she's gonna be an awesome big sister once the baby comes out.
Considering this week, I hope so. She's been a terror this week.
Listen, I would be worried once the second one comes around and is old enough that she's gonna turn Lauren into her own little minion, and then they cause terror together.
That's always a good possibility too, and I really hope that doesn't happen because I'm going to come back to you on this. I'm going to blame you for putting it out there.
Come on, are you kidding me?
What was that little news anchor paper shuffle? Like,
those are my notes. I was not kidding. I have
prepared.
notes.
All right. Well, before you take the floor, I was going to say, since I mentioned the Halo Infinite Season 2 came out, they screwed up the game. I know you're not too into it, but I'm upset because things are messed up now, even worse than before. I don't remember if I mentioned they talked about not adding a BR to it, Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And they ended up doing their version of that anyway. But people are saying it's great. I haven't played it yet, and I'm just not a big Battle Royale person, but people say it's great except for the power-ups that you get towards the end. Because having an overshield and you're like one of the last two people kind of puts it at an unfair advantage. They say you need like grappling hook and camo and stuff like that, or not camo, grappling hook and drop wall or thruster.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is apparently like some of the trigger pulls are not registering on the gun. Like the BR and BR. The battle rifle in the game is a 3-round burst, and you pull the trigger, it's 3, and then like a quick second, and then you pull it again. It's got a specific rhythm to it. But some people that are playing now, when they do that, it doesn't fire anything. Or in some instances, it'll fire, but nothing will come out, nothing will register. It'd be like nothing ever happened.
Now, is that intentional, or was that
Nope, it was
just a bug?
Just a bug that just ended up happening. And there are some instances where people are pulling the trigger and then switching weapons and then getting a perfect with a weapon that they didn't intend to kill with because they switched weapons in the middle of firing. So it fired both weapons at the same time.
Yeah.
And then they took it, maybe not taken out, but they messed up a lot of like the quote unquote skill jumps where in a lot of high level play you'll get people who are running and they slide and then jump to get traversal maneuvers to get farther or to get somewhere else or get the drop on somebody.
Yeah.
Can't do a lot of those anymore. There's no such thing as sliding and jumping into it anymore. You're either sliding and then you're jumping. Certain jumps on certain maps you can't perform anymore because you can't pull that off, or because they've changed whatever geometry in it to where you can't clamber up to it anymore. Just a lot of things are either messed up for no reason or because of some random glitch. And just people are not happy, and kind of like there's a mass exodus on the game now. So they're losing people left and right.
Now, as far as those jumps and stuff like that, is that like an acquired skill after, or is that just something that was originally a mechanic right from the get-go?
It's just learning the mechanics of the game and knowing how to move.
Then if that's the case, I think that was a bad idea. Getting rid of that.
Because anybody can do it once you get used to the mechanics and knowing how to traverse in the game and what can we jump on and stuff. Anybody can do it. But now, since the update came out, it's like they turn those things off. That's what I should say. I should specify that's what it seems like has happened. Not necessarily that they flipped the switch and said, you can't do this anymore. It's just apply the update and these don't work.
Right. I think at that point where I'm along the same opinions. I don't care for what Battle Royale, but at the same time, it sounds like the nerfing and the making like the power-ups and stuff an unfair advantage.
Well, that's just a balancing issue for the BR mode. They just swap out the gear. That's fine. That's actually balanced. It's just the traversal and the gunplay is jacked up.
Yeah. I think them removing those mechanics is a bad move, to be honest.
If
It's not.
that's the case.
If that's the case, I'm thinking that just they removed it to give it on give more of an advantage to people who aren't
To
used
close the
to those
skill
types.
gap.
Right, which it defeats the purpose of the battle royale. You need play the game, get better at it,
Well, it's not
be
just the battle
competitive.
royale either. It's in all maps, all game modes.
Oh, they got rid of it altogether.
Yeah, it just does not work anymore.
That I'm wondering if there's another reason for it. Then I thought it was
As
just a
far
battle
as
royale.
no, it's everything. It's the game as a whole, all multiplayer.
Okay. Yeah, then I have no idea because I thought it was just a battle royale. If that was the case, to close the gap between newcomers and veteran players,
I mean, that could
I
still
think
be
that's
the
all.
that could still be the issue, but it's affecting the entirety of the online.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my rant. It's upsetting. I love that game, but it's in a sad state since it launched.
Mm. No, I have to agree. I don't blame you for being upset. And to be honest, that like I said, I wasn't, haven't really been a Halo fan, and those reasons make me want to try it even less. So
It's fun. It's fun for a little while, but just the decisions that they made along the way, including their version of the battle pass and how they have their stuff set up, is just it makes you question what's going on or
right.
what went on to lead them to where they are now.
Mm.
What are you gonna do? I just keep
Pretty
playing
much.
Destiny off and on. Seems to be the thing that I go back and forth to.
As long as you're enjoying yourself, that's all that matters.
Okay, since I think you read more about it than I did, why don't you tell me about Nintendo?
Then it's not so much that I read more about it. It was more that I think I have a better idea or have more of an opinion. So my opinion might not be a popular one. But from my understanding of it is the conflict is the difference of how contracted workers are being treated versus employees, which is understandable because when I worked at my previous job, we dealt with contractors and employees. The delivery carriers were all contractors. The way they're treated is completely different than the way the actual employees are treated. It makes sense because that's the contractor's liabilities, stuff like that. I can understand that aspect of it, but other things that they were complaining about, if Nintendo's actually doing that, I don't agree with, and they seriously need to change that because on a moral standpoint, it may be ethically okay, but morally, I don't. It leaves a bad taste in. I'm
Just to
trying to
step
think.
back,
Yeah.
let's go over the details of what exactly was going on. Just because we didn't explain anything, and that might not make much sense to anybody that hasn't read the article and know about what's going on.
Yeah. Do you want to take over or?
Do you not know?
Huh? No, I know. All
So
right. Basic. Okay.
go ahead. I was just gonna say the gist of what I read and what I remember, but if you know more, go
Yeah.
for it.
Basically, from what I read, the the contractors were complaining they don't have access to certain areas in the buildings that employees do, which is understandable because again, liability reasons, stuff like that. It's really non-issue because we had at my previous job the same thing. There were contractors had access to certain things, but they didn't. It's part of the contract. Um, but the other things were they feel they would be treated as second class citizens um, versus what the employees are. Um, one of the complaints that they were talking about was they would be contracted temporarily for like 11 months and then rotated out and would have a like a 2 or 3 month cooldown period before they could come back, and their pay is minuscule compared to their competitors in the area. But my opinion on those type of things is like I said, it has to do with the contracts, and there's got to be a reason for it. I'm assuming because of like the agreements that they had with the company. The pay rate, that's with a third party company. What they pay them is what they pay them. What Nintendo pays the company, the contractor will never know because that's the agreement that the company had. But if they're complaining about what their hourly rate is, Nintendo doesn't set that. At least as far as I'm aware of, from the way I remember our contract was with a temp agency. Um, we don't set that rate. They do. And if they have if their complaint is the hourly rate, then you might want to bring that up to your temp agency. If you think you have a better shot than another competitor, go for it. Try it. I'm sorry.
Well,
That's
from my understanding, it is that their contract. Yeah, I cannot talk. Their contractors are under a lot of scrutiny too, and it sounds like they
yeah,
have a well of employees that they keep going back and forth between. At which
yeah.
point do you convert those contractors to full-time employees, especially if you keep bringing them back in for projects to begin with? The problem is the kind of culture that they're working on, I guess cultivating for the lack of a better word, where you have
Mm,
the separation of full-time and contractors, where the
yeah,
contractors are expected to behave like full-time employees and are under these strict deadlines and guidelines for what they can and cannot do.
yeah.
If you're going to treat them and expect them or expect the same of them as your full-time employees, then why not also put that forward?
That would again. That comes down to contracts. That's where I'm understanding it because the as far as the contractor aspect, you can't legally, at least in mass. I'm not sure how it is. It Nintendo Nintendo US is based out of California, right?
Redmond, Washington.
All right, Washington. I don't know what the laws are in Washington, but at least like in Mass, contractors cannot. There cannot be any distinction whatsoever between a contractor, um, any distinction, any muddling of the understanding what an employee is and a contractor. It has to be very clear. You have to be very strict about setting that guideline.
Hmm.
The second you cross over, you're breaking contract and opening yourself up to a lawsuit. So that part I understand. Um, as far as liabilities and stuff like that, um, for example, one of the things that we had was when we used the temp agency for employees at one point because we were short staffed. One of the requirements that we had for them, if they're going to send us temps, they have to have their own car. They need to use their own car because of insurance purposes and stuff like that. They cannot use our company vehicles, just like our newspaper carriers aren't allowed to.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming it has to do with that, with like what they were talking about with the health benefits and stuff like that. Where during the time period, while they're working, they have health benefits. I'm assuming because of the way the contract is written, but they don't have access to it while they're during that cool down period. And even though they can file for unemployment and them not having health benefits, I'm assuming that has to do with the contracts. It all comes down to money. The reason
I think
why
these contractors just want to be treated a little more fairly.
I agree, and I don't blame them.
Hmm.
It's
It reminds me similarly of since you were reading up on the Activision Blizzard stuff, which we'll talk about the New York suing them, Bobby Kotick as well.
yeah.
The what was it? The game testers from Activision Blizzard were all contractors too, that were
Hmm.
supposed to be brought on as full-time employees at some point because they were there for
Hmm.
years. And game companies tend to go in cycles where they'll hire big for a project and then start weaning people off, and then as the project dies down and towards the end, they'll drop most, if not all, the contractors, or maybe keep a few on or something like that. And then when the
Right.
next project starts up, they'll bring them back on for another thing. I believe they were promised full-time positions, or there was a handful that was going to be brought on that were dropped when the game was being shipped out. So
Right.
they decided to unionize and finally, won the right to be a union for the games testing group for Activision Blizzard,
Yeah.
which, you know, I don't know how much you know about unionization in games and if it's a big deal or not, but it's one of those other areas of industry that needs to happen too. Because
No,
then you
agreed.
wouldn't have these cycles of hiring a bunch of people and then dropping them again. You'd get a lot more steady work done.
Oh, absolutely. I'm okay. I'm all for unions. The point of the union was you have representation to fight for your rights versus being treated like a piece of meat.
Hmm.
That
And I think that's what this whole Nintendo thing boils down to. It's just
I
not being
just
treated like that.
right. I never understood that how unionization works. I thought it was just applies to employees. Contractors can unionize as well.
Well, I mean, if you get hired on as part of the team, you can be part of that union. It was just these group of contractors that were all game testers for Activision Blizzard pooled together and was like, well, we were going to be brought on as full-time employees. Why not? Why don't we fight for the right to be a union for them? And I guess they ended up winning because they were hired back. Or
Yeah.
I'll have to read it up again. I think that they were dropped and then they were brought back and then they unionized, or they fought back, became a union, and then they were kept on.
I'll have to look into that more because I always thought contractors, because they're not employees, so they obviously don't have the same rights as employees and stuff like that. That they can't unionize, type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, because they obviously, due to the terms of their contracts, eh, they don't really have any rights outside of those terms. You know,
Right.
if I'm coming across right.
Yeah.
Which is why I was under the understanding that contractors couldn't unionize. Makes sense if they could,
Hmm.
but
This is a very specific area for people to be unionizing as it is. So that might be the reason.
yeah,
I don't know. I know that those contracts are weird and work a little bit differently too, because it's a
yeah.
whole separate industry.
Oh,
I'll have to read
absolutely.
up on it again and see what's up or which one it was.
And then one of the other things that, at least from my understanding, from what I was reading with that conflict, is that their belief when they try to address it, like you were saying, they would get reprimanded for it, type of thing, and then uh, the way when those complaints would come in, but they would get reprimanded by the uh, by the oh my god, I really can't talk today, by the temp agency. So I'm not really sure, at least from my understanding, the complaints are really coming from Nintendo
Well, they
and
just got to
so
come
much.
down the pipeline from somebody.
Right, but I'm just wondering if the temp agency itself is just one of those that, hey, we Nintendo brought up the let's say Nintendo actually had this concern, they heard it from the contractor, and then then they tried to relay it to to the temp agency. Hey, this is what's going on. Let's try to fix this. And then the temp agency is reprimanding their employees, saying, hey, and trying to pin the blame on Nintendo. Again, it could very well be Nintendo's type of thing.
Yeah, they
It
could have
just
had the things in place before they brought them on too.
right.
Who knows?
My what I wasn't liking and about the fact that were one of the employees that I was reading about, one of their complaints was that they had fallen on the way to work. They had fallen, slipped on ice and banged their head, smacked their head on the ground, and to the point where when they were going in, they thought they were fine until they actually got to their desk and their vision was blurry and stuff like that. They tried to use the in-house facility, medical facility, to get checked out, and they were like, "No, you're not on Nintendo's health
Wow,
benefits."
really?
Yeah.
I did not read about that. Holy shit.
And when she was like, "All right, that's fine," because of the third party, that's understandable. They have the two separate things. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it's right, but then when she's like, "All right, if you don't mind, can my coworker drive me to the hospital nearby so I can get checked out?"
Yeah.
And then they denied him because of liability because they didn't. That person was an employee and she was a contractor. Employees can't drive contractors. I'm like,
I
really?
mean, I I hate it. I understand the idea that it's a liability, but it still sucks. It's a shitty
Yeah.
situation.
And then on top of that, to add another slap, again, don't know how true or accurate that story was in the article, that they ended up calling calling that contractor an Uber to drive them. Why didn't you call 911? At best,
Yeah,
call emergency services.
yeah. If you're not gonna let them get checked out by an on-site professional, and you know that they need help, then yes, call an ambulance,
Right,
not an Uber.
exactly. That I don't agree with, and they need to
Damn.
fix. Me personally think that needs to be fixed. That's may, maybe ethical, but not moral whatsoever. I'm sorry.
Well, there really shouldn't be a separation of like, I don't know, working class, contractor
Right.
versus full time. But I mean, the contract work that I did, working in Boston alone, that was the same thing. Contractors worked in one area and everybody else was off on their own doing their own thing. I get it.
Right.
It still sucks. Especially when
Oh,
people are closed off from facilities that they could use.
agreed. I'm assuming at that point it all comes down to the dollars and stuff like that. Um, and I get it because one of the other things that they were talking about was when they were told to address certain channels and stuff like that, they were hoping Nintendo would change their way, but from the way it was explained to them from different perspectives, North Nintendo America doesn't have a say. Like they're so strict with what they can and cannot do
Hmm.
that they have if they wanted to change the color of a boardroom office as an example, they'd have to get the approval from Nintendo Japan.
Well, that makes sense. That they have a very strict way of doing business and how things run. So that makes
Right.
perfect sense to me.
It makes sense, but at the same time you also have to realize the work culture in Japan is
Is
completely
way
different than the
different
work.
than here. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. We were just talking about it the other day. One of the prior streams that how overworked those guys are and underappreciated they are.
But it's also
Just
like a status symbol for them to work too, which is just ridiculous in its own sense. But that's how Japanese people are.
yeah. Are
Like
you kidding me? It's
there's
a,
plenty of things I've heard where if you take time off in Japan from your work, it's frowned upon and kind of seen as less than, like, oh, you had to take time off to do whatever instead of working, you're kind of letting the team down.
right, exactly. And then you wonder why like video certain animes that's the trope. Yeah, like the whole point of the isekai where you see the memes of people getting hit by the trucks and stuff like that. On top of that is employees being overworked, dying, and then they get reborn. Why do they have to be overworked?
That's
Overworked and
sad.
underappreciated.
Yeah. But hey, that's everybody over here too. They're starting to be that way now.
Mm.
Yay. What a bummer. Do we have any happy news? Oh, happy news. New York is I can't fuck. I always want to say selling instead of suing. Jesus Christ. They're going to sell off Bobby Kotick. Oh, that'd be nice. No, New York suing him. That's some good news.
Yeah.
It's,
Blizzard can't seem to get out of its own freaking way, huh?
it's his fucking fault.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
all him. And they're suing him because he allegedly was he was wanting to sell off Activision Blizzard to cover his own butt for all the shit that was coming out.
Yeah.
Which we were talking about earlier makes perfect sense and like is the perfect time for Phil Spencer to sweep in and say, "Hey, we'll buy this off your hands for this much money. You get this much, and then you can just get out of the business." And there's a very good chance that that was the conversation they had, and he took the money and left. Which is a
Right.
shitty thing to do because he was actively trying to hide things and keep things out of the limelight, and that started coming out because people were sharing all the emails from it, and they wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
Which is fine because that shit needs to be exposed. You need to know when someone's shitty, and he was the worst.
Oh, absolutely. Those type of assholes are the reason why we bitch about big government, not big government. Oh my god, big corporations and stuff like that. I'm like,
They're trying to keep the little man down.
yeah. I'm like, sorry, no, you got assholes like him who cover their own ass when they fuck up.
Yep. People need to read more about that if they're not educated on it. It's a hell of a story, and it just keeps getting crazier as time goes on.
No, absolutely. And then you have people that are bitching about companies like Disney that, hey, they should shut their mouth about political issues. And guess what? They're actually, from my understanding, they're actually one of the better ones.
Well,
So
that's a separation of outward appearance versus inward appearance.
uh,
Sure, they're out. Everything they're showing you is like, yeah, we're inclusive. We're selling pride stuff. We're all about you being your person. And then behind the scenes is like, no, you shut up. You listen to us. You have to do this way, and you have to listen to us when we say it like this. But at least they're working on changing that, from what I've heard.
yeah. Well, even then, no because I know a couple of people that work in it. They're strict. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing surprising about that, but
Yep.
at least there are benefits and stuff like that that makes things a little bit easier for them. Whereas other companies, it's like we're talking about with the Nintendo situation. They're getting reamed up the ass, and they're getting away with it because, hey, guess what? We got a line out the door that says, hey, we want to work for
Yeah,
Nintendo.
that's one of the biggest damn things too. It's like, you don't want to listen to us about it. We'll just drop you and find someone that we can pay less for. Because there is an abundance of people that would kill to work at one of these companies.
Yeah, just because of their name.
Yes.
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it. Sorry.
No, I gotcha. Makes perfect sense. Oh, really quick, since we mentioned it last week, um, in our E3 discussion,
Mhm.
Summer Games Fest was coming up, and I think they didn't have a date for that. The date is now June 9th, 3 days before all the big name stuff goes down. The Xbox Bethesda showcase and all that fun stuff was on the 12th. This one's coming
Okay.
out on the 9th, just a few days before. So that's going to be fun. We get a shit ton of games, a little break, and then a shit ton more games, and then a little bit of break, and then some more.
That's gonna be fun.
Like
We,
E3
we,
never
we need
left.
some good news with all the fun stuff that's been going on.
Like, what fun stuff are you talking about?
Nothing at all. Like corporations covering their ass, politicians blowing smoke out their ass. The shit show that's Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
You know
Oh
that.
my god.
Give it a year or two, and that's going to be a TV series soon.
Oh Jesus Christ.
And just you wait, it'll happen.
I don't get it. I just
So you
you
got.
think
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say you think we're going ahead with certain things and then hey,
Oh
guess
yeah,
what?
it's
We're gonna
two
shoot
steps
ourselves in the
forward, one
foot.
step back.
Oh yeah.
I have said my piece all week long about that shit, and I'm not done. I am pissed off and upset for women on on behalf of women. I that's a thing for another time and place. Not here. This is about games. But women, we
Not a
stand
pro.
with you. It's just a sad state of affairs.
Mm-hmm. Stuff like that shouldn't have gone that far.
No.
But hey, on the brighter side, the Prey's turning 5.
Yeah.
I had to see the trailer for that. That looks awesome. Reminds me of like it's like a Doom type of game, isn't it?
No.
No.
That was one of the best games that I have ever played, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Not enough people saw it or played it, but it was excellent. Ever heard or played System Shock or System Shock 2?
No, I did not.
Okay. You had to have played Skyrim. I'm trying to make some comparisons here to give you an idea.
I have not. I was told I was not allowed to play that game. I was gonna lose any type of social life I had left.
That's true. I still go back and play Skyrim because of that. But Prey is a first-person stealth horror RPG-ish game. Like, there's RPG aspects to it. You are on a
Okay.
space station and you're surrounded by
Mm-hmm.
these alien guys, but you can get like these psi-type powers that are based off what they do and just regular psi manipulation things, or you can just like upgrade your guns and not take that on. But
Uh-huh.
it's a lot of It's a lot of first-person RPG stuff going through a gigantic space station and escaping from this alien threat that's coming.
Okay.
There is an excellent twist in the game, and
Mm.
it just feels really good to play and experience, and I
Mhm.
cannot recommend it enough. And it's sad that it didn't get the due that it needed when it first came out. Their DLC that they came out with was Moon
Yeah.
Crash, which is like it's a roguelite type of game
Yeah.
where you get to play as different characters, but as you play as them doing their so-called tasks because you're reliving their memories, it
Mhm.
kind of weaves a story together that involves the main character that you are playing as that replays these memories.
Okay.
It's super cool.
I have to give it a shot. It looks cool. I like the premise of it. Now now where I'm like confusing it with the sort of saying like it's a Doom like game. Now is the person where he can copy their abilities and stuff like that? Is he infected with something like that? Like alien DNA or something, or is
So
it just
funny you mention that. It's like a voluntary thing. He doesn't
okay?
get infected and then get sick, but it's more
Uh
you're taking essence or DNA from these aliens and you are
huh.
combining it with human stuff, putting it into you, and it's giving you these abilities.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they're weaponizing their abilities and making it usable for humans. Okay, same idea as like District 9, except he's not turning in.
Kind of, yeah. But one of the cool
Okay.
aspects about that too is the more you do that and the more you gain these alien type powers, the more the
Hmm.
AI on the ship and stuff start turning against you because they don't recognize you as human. So they start firing on you and things like that.
No shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
You
It's a really, really cool game.
don't see stuff like that often,
No.
and
I was
that
just surprised that it's been 5 years since it came out. It seems like no time at all. I need to go back and
I
play
w-
it now. I just want to play through the game again. Talking about it got me excited.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised I've never heard about it until today. That I'm definitely gonna have to look into that one.
Well,
When I saw the trailer, I was like,
did you know that
"Huh."
Prey started off as a completely different game back on the 360?
No, because when I think when I saw looked up the wiki to get a little more information on like the plot of this game, I didn't realize that it was like not really a sequel, but a reboot, something
Re
like that.
reimagining, I would say. It's made by Arcane, which are the same people who
Uh-huh.
did Dishonored, if you know what
Okay.
that game is. Um,
Yeah.
they had
Haven't.
the name, like the IP itself, they had the name, and they were
Mm.
developing a game and didn't know where to put it, I think was the story, so they slapped it on this because it felt like it fit with the quote unquote Prey name, like the idea of Prey. So they put it
Mm-hmm.
on this game. Originally on the 360, it started off as a completely different game and had a sequel in development that never came out. The
Yeah.
first game, you are a Native American barkeep who gets abducted by aliens, and then you're fighting your way through the alien ship to get off of it or find out what's going on. And like you have these soul abilities, like your spirit hawk shows you different ways, or like you can come back from the dead using the spirit world and stuff like that. I think it was a neat concept. It was a
Okay.
cool game, but they never finished making the second sequel, and then they took that name and put it on this game. I know
I
it
have.
sounds like a weird concept, but it was a neat game.
It, it sounds like it sound. I'm sure. I'm sure it was, but just like the explanation of it makes it sound like somebody had two bowls with like paper ideas written on pieces of paper, picked them out, and said, "Okay, main character, Native American, send them to space." I'm like, really?
I mean, I mean that's a good prompt. It's just like, let's see what ideas I come up with today. You mash two things together. It's like I can write something about this. I mean, it sold fairly well.
I'm actually more intrigued about the original, just because I want to see how that played out.
Oh man, go watch a couple Let's Plays of it. It's a cool looking game. It was a neat idea. But yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have to.
that's where the name came from. Originally those, and then this was the new game that came out with that same name. All because
Okay.
they own the rights to the name Prey, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, because the way the wiki was making it sound like it was an alternate timeline of the original one. if the events happen like this type of thing.
Nope. Well, actually, funny enough that you mentioned that in the newer Prey, the one that just turned 5, you
Mhm.
have different types of endings in that game depending on what you do in it, and some choices
Yeah.
that you make at the very end. It's definitely not a continuation of the original game or anything like that. It's its
Right.
own separate thing.
I do like games like that you can do different endings, and it makes you want to play it more. To be honest, so you can see every different version. So those type of games I'm pretty cool with.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'll have to check both of them out.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the fact that Stone Cold Steve Austin said that Breath of the Wild was the best Legend of Zelda game.
I saw that video before
Before I
I
even
saw
said
it.
anything.
Yeah, I was like, not so much that I'm because I saw the video. It's him arguing with another
With another wrestler,
wrestler.
yeah. I forget what his
Yeah,
fucking name is, too.
you mean both? And he said the other one said Ocarina of Time was the best. He said it was
Yes.
Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
I was more surprised at the fact that he's an actual gamer.
I mean, I don't know if he is or not. Maybe his kids play it, and he was just like, I know this one, I'll throw it out. If he is,
Right.
though, that's super surprising.
Oh, same. Because you think these guys are all big and macho, and oh my god, I think who was it? Goldberg. One of the YouTubers that I like to launch. He apparently became friends with Goldberg for whatever reason because he lives in Texas also,
Hmm.
and they were into like muscle cars and stuff like that. The way Goldberg's persona outside of the ring makes sense to the type of type of person he looks at. If Stone Cold Steve Austin is a gamer, that threw me for a loop.
It just doesn't. You can't, like, circle that square or square off that circle or whatever. It just doesn't
Yeah,
compute.
yeah. Along the same lines of like when I found out Henry Cavill is is a
Yes,
big
he's a big
time game.
Warhammer nerd.
Oh yeah, I'm
And he
like
loves
holy.
painting minis, too. I
I
love it.
was like holy crap.
Dude, the actor Steve Manganiello, he's a huge D&D nerd, too.
No
Like,
shit.
his character is, like, D&D canon dealing with Vecna and them.
Yeah.
It's super cool. You'd be surprised at the
Yeah,
handful of
yeah,
people
okay.
I've learned are D&D nerds or into mini painting and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Vin Diesel's one of them.
Yeah, but Vin Diesel's
I
an
was.
asshole.
He's an asshole, but at the same time, you know, yeah, you see his persona and you don't picture that.
And I feel like he was one of the first outspoken people about that too. Like, yeah, I play games, I like this shit, so what? And then you start hearing about
Right.
more of the actors and actresses that do like it. He's
Right.
still an asshole, but if I feel like he was the first one that was on the scene saying, "Yeah, I like this and I do acting."
Yeah, he was. I think he was smart about the way he did. He did his deal with the Fast and the Furious franchise, so he had the right to Riddick because he was a big comic book nerd.
Hmm.
Granted, it didn't go very far, but at the same time, he's also making a crap ton of money from the Fast and the Furious franchise, and he got to do whatever the hell he wanted with his favorite character,
Was that
comic
him?
book.
Was that him doing movies just to pay to be able to make other movies? Am I remembering that
Uh,
right? You'll have to tell me because I don't know the exact story.
Something like that. It's been a while since I've read up on the details because he originally after the first Fast and the Furious movie, he didn't want to do it anymore. He was like, this is too cringy. I don't want to do this type of thing. It's not my type of thing.
Okay.
But because of the not that the second movie was a flop or anything like that, it didn't have the follow up that it did that the first one did.
Hmm.
And they mounted it to because of Vin Diesel not being in it, which made sense when the amount of people that showed up to the third one, which had nothing to do with Paul Walker or any of them, all because of Vin Diesel having a cameo in it. part of his contract for him going back to the Fast and the Furious franchise, he had to the movie company had to give him the rights to the Riddick franchise.
The critic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Too perfect of a name. Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that was just because he loves the Chronicle of Riddick.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Say, of all the things to latch onto, did not expect that, but all right. More power to him, I guess.
Right? Well, look at Henry Cavill in The Witcher. He
was
did that
this
role because he's
big
a
ass
fan.
Witcher nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him. I like the books. I love the games.
Yeah.
And he makes a good Geralt, so I'm happy. And it got Megan to The Witcher too. Like, she enjoyed watching me play through Witcher 3 and was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
the show's coming out. I can't wait to watch it." So
I've been meaning to watch the show. I've never played the games, but I've been meaning to watch the show, and I've yet to watch it.
it's a good show. It's a good way to get into the books without really reading them, but you should still read them.
Yeah. Okay.
The games are fun too. Of course, 3 is the best one, but 2 is a good alternative.
Okay. I'll add it to my list.
Speaking of games you'll get lost in, The Witcher 3, you will get lost in that game for hours. And by hours, I mean days and months.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The combat is very simplistic and a little but it doesn't detract from the overall gameplay and like the story and stuff. Everything is super fleshed out and really cool.
Okay, so the story is actually that long, or is it just because of it has a whole bunch of side
long.
content?
It's got a shit ton of side quests. It has some meaty DLC, and it's all free.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay extra for the DLC usually. Like, there are deals where you can just buy the complete package for $10 because it's been out for so long. But like, everything is really well written. Everything has a nice beginning and end. Even the side quests are like, they get wrapped up in a nice little bow. And some of them, actually, a lot of the quests that you do have alternate paths and different things that can happen. Like, just to give you an example, one quest I did that I remember doing was this lady's husband went missing, and she has no idea what happened to him.
Yeah.
Or no, I got that wrong. It was this lady's sister that could not find what happened to her sister after marrying this dude who was a woodsman of some sort.
Okay.
You track down where his cabin is, and you find like blood marks and scratches and things that are going like all around the house and on the grounds, and you're like, you do your investigation thing since he's got heightened senses, and you realize, oh, a werewolf of some sort or something like that attacked. So you wait till night, you go and you find the werewolf, and you fight him, and you can choose to kill him or not. You kill him, you report back to the sister's or the wife's sister and say, there was this werewolf, I believe that she was killed by him, I killed the werewolf, end of contract. Or you can let him live, he'll revert back, and then he'll wake up, realize that he ended up killing his wife because he went berserk because of something that his wife's sister actually ended up doing because she knew that he was a werewolf. So you can find out more stuff by doing one thing differently.
So basically, she hired you to cover her tracks.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh shit, that's cool.
That's why I love that game so much. Just like, it throws in these random ass things. It's like, wow, that went somewhere I did not expect it to go.
It reminds me a lot of, especially when you were talking about because of how old games are, where they do like the whole package with the DLCs and stuff like that. Dragon Age Origins.
I just could not get into Dragon Age. I've tried so hard. I don't get the appeal. It's supposed to be great RPGs, but I just can't do it.
I liked it, to be honest. It was one of those things I didn't mind playing it.
What am I doing wrong? Why don't I like it?
Don't get me wrong, it's been a while since I played it, but I enjoyed it myself.
Sorry, yawned.
And the fact that, like what you were talking about, it has enough side content that you can go through it, do it, depending on what decisions you make, will determine how the path the character goes. Where, like, let's say um, you can there's like a few female characters that you can actually have sex with, and depending on who you decide to bed with, either you get raped at the end of the game, if I'm not mistaken,
What the fuck?
so that you can so you can have a child with that lady, or actually end up with her, or whatever, depending on your decisions.
Jesus Christ, this
Yeah.
sounds like Fear all over again. Tell me you know about that game.
I've heard of it, but I've never played it.
Okay, so that's just a first-person shooter, but it's a supernatural one, and like the
Yeah.
main evil lady is Alma, and she rapes your main character in that too.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, even though she's like a ghost or something. So
Yeah.
go figure. Anyway, enough about that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm gonna save the Embracer Group thing. So, oh yeah, that is super interesting too. But let's touch on Overwatch. You never played the original one, right?
No.
Okay, I did for a touch time. It's all right. I'm
Yeah.
not a big team-based shooter. It was fun. It's cool. It's nice, colorful.
Yeah.
Just not my kind of thing. But after years and years and years of work, they finally put out Overwatch 2's beta to
Okay.
specific people. And like they had a deal where like a handful of streamers got keys for the beta code, and if you watch their streams where their drops were enabled, you can get a beta key to get into it too. And the first day that the beta went live, they had like 15,000 keys to put out.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so they had, I think it was something like that, like 15 to 20,000 keys maybe. I don't remember the exact number of that. But on their first day of like the beta being out and people playing it, they had about 15 million people playing, or 15 million people watching and playing. Not playing. Why do I keep saying that? On Twitch, they had 15 million people watching these people who had the beta keys actually play the beta.
Yeah.
The following day, only about 15,000. Their viewership dropped off a cliff.
That bad?
It was bad. About 99% of their entire viewer base watching the beta just dropped in the second day. A lot of the people who were streaming the game and playing it said that there really isn't enough things that were changed or touched up to be considered a 2. You know, it went from a 6v6 to a 5v5. I think some of it's like PvE versus PvP elements. They added a new character, they tightened up some of the gameplay and made some things smoother. But that's about it. That's all they really did. So a lot of people are upset, like, this isn't really a 2, this is more of the same. And people just were not impressed. A little sad because they were doing this for years and just putting so much effort into it, and this is all they got.
Pretty much. I think that hit worse than the Kingdom Hearts 3 reaction. So I feel better now.
It also sucks because Blizzard has got like such renown on having polished games that play so well and are just a nice thing to do. And it would go from 15 million to just about 15,000 people watching. It says a lot.
Pretty much. And again, it goes back to decisions corporate made, and
I'm sure that all the stuff going on with them didn't help either. Plus, some of their big name people that were working on Overwatch left too. Like Jeff Kaplan was the voice and face of Overwatch and all their updates and stuff as things were going on.
Right.
So they lost a lot of good people in like all the shit that's going on. I guess we're finally seeing the repercussions of that.
Pretty much.
What do you want to go to? Because I was gonna bring up something else next.
There seems to be a lot of news lately about Square, and I'm very curious as to what this means.
Which part of that do you want to get into?
Let's start Seeing as I'm a big mobile game person, let's start with the Embracer Group buying off their Montreal branch.
So that's just all those IPs that go with it. I put it on the list too just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got away with a handful of studios that Square Enix didn't want for 300 million bucks, which is an
Yeah.
absolute steal for the amount of things that they got in return.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you read into any of that? Like how much they actually gained from it and what Square is keeping?
I don't know, didn't know what Square was keeping. I know that granted, the article I read was on the Embracer Group's website, to
Hmm.
be honest, so I don't know exactly
That is the
how
best
biased
resource.
that is.
No, that's the best source because it's coming directly from them. Not to mention Sony put
Yeah.
up a blog about it too. And with
Yeah, 'cause
I
from
think they linked directly to the Embracer Group's like blog post on their site too.
okay. Yeah, because at least if I read it correctly, they were talking about how the branch that they took over is the one that handled their mobile games. So that's where it brought me to think is what does that mean for um, like what we were talking about, the Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, which is a mobile game. Is that part of that? Are they working with Square to continue that now?
You know, that's
Or
something I didn't look up yet. Is Square the main developer or publisher of Kingdom Hearts? Because you know that Square Enix is not going to sell off that. I didn't see that in the list of stuff that they were selling, but they also didn't specify that they were keeping that if that's the case.
yeah, because I know
Look it up.
the Kingdom Hearts series is at least it's the brainchild between Disney and Square, and I'm pretty sure Disney wouldn't sign off on that.
Yeah. Publisher Square, developer Square Enix. So yeah, there's no way in hell that they would sell that one off. So that's definitely staying with Square.
Now, so then that means that even though that was their mobile game department, they I'm assuming it was a totally different department that was handling that particular game
Even
to
if
begin with.
it's yeah, it's that I'll look that up in just a second. They're probably with the mobile thing, they probably are going to outsource it since they sold off their other. You said their Western studio was their arm of mobile development. If they're selling that off, then there's a good chance that they're not going to be developing it, or they
Yeah.
could like turn around and contract the work out through Embracer Group to do it.
Right.
But there's some really cool information about what games they got and what games Square kept.
That I want to know more. I know that they got some titles, but I have no idea what the list was.
So, see, where did I put some of that? Oh, I put that down here in the wrong spot. That's all right. So the Embracer Group ended up buying, or when they entered this deal with Square Enix, they ended up getting Amplifier Game Invest, Asmodee, Coffee Stain Holding, Dark Coffee Stain Holding. I think that's supposed to be Coffee Stain something else. Dark Horse Media, DECA Games, Easy Brain. They got Gearbox? No. No, that's a 2K thing. Gearbox Entertainment. I'm gonna have to check that out again. Oh yeah, they got Saber. I didn't know that they were still around. And THQ Nordic, which was interesting. Oh, wait, no. Am I reading this right? I think that's right.
Yeah.
You've heard of THQ and THQ Nordic.
Yes, I
Yes.
just don't remember what games that I played that
I can't think of
THQ
any
did.
games off the top of my head either. But the fact that you remembered that name leads you up to where we are now. So the company,
Mhm.
I forget what, I think they might have started off as a different name first, changed to Nordic, bought THQ, and then changed their name to THQ Nordic. And then after
Mhm.
that, they switched their name to the Embracer Group and became a holding company for games.
Yeah.
Now they own all these companies that can churn out games. With that, um, I didn't write down the titles that they had. I thought I saved that somewhere. Oh, there it is. Embracer Group ended up getting the Tomb Raider series, which I believe was
Yeah.
under Crystal Dynamics, which was developing for Sony at the time. I think
Mhm.
there was a thing where they were exclusive for a short while and then went over to the Xbox, or maybe it was the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, now Embracer Group has got the Tomb Raider series, Deus Ex,
Okay.
which people have been clamoring for another game in that series, Thief, which I believe was an Arcane title, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Legacy of Kain, which we have not seen a decent vampire game like that in years. They need to make another one. And
Yeah.
quote unquote 50 other catalog games. No idea which ones those are because they didn't mention. I'm going to have to go through all these companies and see which games they were.
Right.
But one of the funniest things that Square Enix is holding on to, they have said, and we can pretty much assume that they're going to keep Kingdom Hearts. They're not going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
They also kept
Like.
Life is Strange, Just Cause,
Okay.
and the funniest one out of all that is Gex. Like from the PS1 era. The little gecko dude that like puts on different suits for different episodes of the game. Tell me
Why
you
does that
remember
sound
that.
familiar?
Like
Oh
the
my
most
god, the name.
iconic one was him in like a black button up like suit coat and he was supposed to be a 007 type gecko for one level. Like that
Oh
was
my
the one that
god.
you would see everywhere.
I'm drawing a brain fart. Like I'm remembering what you're talking about, but it's just not clicking in my head.
Look
I
up a
gotta. I
picture.
got.
As soon as you see it, you're like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." But
I'm
the
gonna have
fact
to.
the funniest, well, one of the funny parts about that too is not just did they hold on to Gex, they renewed the license for that IP.
Oh my god.
So I wonder if that means that they plan to make something from it.
I don't know. One of the pictures shows Gex with Idris Elba, so I'm trying to figure out if that.
What is that supposed to mean?
I know, right? Yeah, I'll
But
do.
but you recognize the
I,
guy, right? Gex
yeah,
himself.
I
Yeah.
reckon.
So yeah, it what they did with that IP and everything makes it seem like they're working on making a new game or maybe remaking it or remastering it, which would be really funny. It's just interesting timing that they bought that, kept that, and renewed the IP for it.
I'm assuming they might be coming out with the next one because people are suggesting that the Idris Elba be the next Gex.
That would be interesting. You know what they need
I would
another
probably
one of? A super
what?
obscure game called Mort the Chicken from PlayStation 1. I guarantee you nobody's really heard of that game.
I've never heard of it, but
That's it.
if I did, I would have gotten it just because the fact that it's a video game about a chicken.
That's all it was too. You're a chicken named Mort trying to, I think, defeat aliens or something. It was a really weird game. I'm not even joking when I say weird. It was weird.
Oh Jesus!
But me and my sister, like when we talk about PlayStation games, that's the one we always go back to just because it's funny.
Yeah, so I got to remember, PlayStation was trying to when PlayStation 1 came out. There was a lot of weird games like that because they wanted to be different from freaking Nintendo.
Well, that's how we got Crash and Spyro and Jack and Daxter and everything else along those lines.
Pretty much, and all because Nintendo said, "Hey, that's a bad idea. We don't want it anymore."
And look what
And then
happened.
Sony's like, "Yep."
So yeah,
Yeah.
chalk the Embracer Group into the acquisition folder. All these companies are buying up game developers and publishers. Well, not I wouldn't say publishers, game devs and studios making games. But
Well,
with
next,
that,
yeah.
with reading all that stuff about the Embracer Group too, it's there's a rumor that Square Enix is going to be bought by Sony, or like they're looking into buying Square Enix, which
Yeah.
I guess makes sense considering how much partnership there is there with making games. But
Yeah.
why would they prune their studio and what they hold just to be bought out later? Because that's money on the table. Because you can negotiate for more money if you have more of these things. So I wonder
And
if that rumor is true, why would they choose to sell these guys off just to be purchased later?
the only thing I can think of is because you don't really see Sony do like any mobile games or anything like that.
They also didn't have their games on PC for the longest time. They just started putting them
Yeah.
out.
Right, but that's just because a lot of the video game fan base is behind PC games too. So
Oh yeah.
that makes sense them adopting it, whereas the mobile games not so much. So they probably like I don't want to. They probably okayed it and was like, yeah, you're okay to sell this off. We don't want anything to do with the mobile division.
Yeah.
So
Like
that
leave
could
it
be part
maybe
of the
leave it up
talks.
to specific game developers if they want to do mobile because, that's not the best market for full-fledged games. It's always specific types of games that end up being mobile ports.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that I'm surprised that Sony wants to buy them. To be
Well,
honest.
we don't know. It's a rumor that I heard that just accompanied all this talk
Right.
from the Embracer Group purchasing all these things.
Right.
I haven't seen any more
Rumor.
news on it, but it would make sense, I guess.
Not so much, because so, I want to lean heavy that it is just that it's a rumor. I don't see Sony wanting to pick it up just because of the fact that their entertainment department's already hemorrhaging as it is. The only thing that's their saving grace right now is the Spider-Man franchise, and that's the only reason that they're actually making money in their entertainment department.
Well, games are entertainment, and they make money
Yeah.
hand over fist with that.
They're making money hand over fist with the sale of the units, not so much the games, as far as I'm aware of.
Well, they're first-party studios. They make bank.
Right.
I mean, they they had the rights to make the Sony games through Insomniac, and that I think they
Yeah.
bought them too, which made them a first-party studio. So all that money flows straight through Sony.
Yeah. I have to look into that more. I know like the movies and stuff like that, they're hemorrhaging big time. If it was other than the fact that like the Spider-Man movies, that's
Their
why at one
their
point
game
Apple.
studios are booming. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. Because that's why Apple at one point wanted to buy out the Sony Entertainment department because they wanted to focus more on their electronic side versus movies and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But if they did that, whether they liked it or not, they would have lost Spider-Man no matter what, because those rights were reverted back to Disney.
Right.
So, but this was also at the time where the renegotiations were going on, and um, people were thinking Disney was going to buy Spider-Man off of Sony.
Well, yeah,
The price
their contract for Spider-Man was going to be up soon too, wasn't it?
right, that was at that time before they renegotiated for the next installment,
Right.
and Sony backed out of the deal, tried to back out of the deal before the third movie was made. And then the fan base said, "Hey, stop screwing around. Let's go."
Well, if it wouldn't surprise me if they bought Square Enix just because of the history there. But I wonder what they're going to if say they buy them. I wonder what's going to happen with Outriders. And I only bring that up because of another thing that came out about that game recently, where it's I didn't care for the game even through the beta and stuff, but people said it was great. It came out on PlayStation first for a while, I believe, and then it came over to Xbox and on Game Pass, and I guess it was a huge hit on Game Pass, and a lot of people downloaded or maybe even bought it, but it
Yeah.
didn't turn a profit. Somehow that game was not profitable. Not only was it apparently not profitable, but there was a hubbub about Square Enix not paying the developers after the game was shipped.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I'm
That's
gonna
not
have to
good.
find the article to talk about that again, but it just all that stuff is hand in hand, and it's a weird thing to withhold money from the developers of a game. Maybe it was even based on sales numbers,
Yeah.
but then to turn around and find out that it never turned a profit despite doing some pretty good numbers on Xbox and Game Pass. But
Right.
it was also a timed exclusive, I think. So that doesn't give it any leg up either.
Right. I'm just trying to look at images to see if it dawns on me because the name sounds familiar. I just don't. Not quite sure.
It was made by People Can Fly. They did Bulletstorm. That was like the first one that I can think of. So they're
Okay.
pretty avid first-person shooters. This was a third-person shooter RPG type thing.
Okay. Yeah, because it looks like at least the images that are popping up sort of looks like
It's
oh
like
my god.
Destiny meets Wasteland.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that because the characters remind me of the Destiny characters,
Yep.
but they don't have monsters like that in the game. That's
Nope.
for sure.
Yeah, nope. Nothing like that.
I'm just hoping that if the rumors are true and that does end up happening, that Sony doesn't butt in too much as far as like story wise, for like obviously at this point, if people don't know, I'm a Final Fantasy fan and a Kingdom Hearts fan. If Sony doesn't butt in too heavily on that and affect the story and everything, I'm okay with it. But
Hmm.
if they do, then that's gonna turn me on. I'm sorry, and that's my franchise.
Yeah, I don't know how they run their acquisitions. I don't know what better to call them. Like with Xbox, as far as I'm understanding, it's here's some money, we're hands off. You make the games that you make. We'll give you some sort of direction, or maybe we'll throw some IPs at you that you can make games
Yeah.
off of. But beyond that, they're hands off.
Okay.
Sony,
I,
maybe, maybe not.
I hope so. I hope they take the position of, hey, let's you go the route, you do your job, you make us money, we're happy. If you don't, then hey, guess what? You don't get those benefits anymore.
Yeah. Circling back around to PC discussions really quick.
Hmm.
Do you did you ever remember hearing about or reading about people trying to get the new NVIDIA graphics cards and just not being able to?
Oh my god, it's been a nightmare. Graphics cards in general. Holy shit.
Well, a lot of people are buying them up just for like the GPU power to mine Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
that was the issue with the new GeForce cards that were coming out because people
Hmm.
wanted like the 38, I think it's 3080 and 3090,
Hmm.
and uh, they were just being bought out left and right or just couldn't keep up with demand.
Yeah.
Come to find out, GeForce themselves, they were misrepresenting their numbers for how much was actually sold to people wanting to use them for just straight up gaming
Hmm.
and not giving accurate numbers on how much of those went to people just straight up mining Bitcoin.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, they were trying to fool their investors into saying, yeah, we sold this much for X amount of stuff because this is what these guys wanted it for, when in fact, a lot of that shit went to people mining. So now they are being fined $5.5 million by the
Same faith.
SEC for misrepresenting their numbers.
Same faith though. They deserve it. The fuck.
Yeah, but you know that 5.5 million is only going to be like a drop in the bank for them. It's like, oh shit, we got caught. And then, here you go. We'll just keep on going.
Yeah. And then what are they gonna do? Turn around and increase the prices to make up for it?
Yeah, that could very well be the case.
Because what the hell was
Pass
it?
the cost on to the consumer.
Yeah, pretty much. Look at what was it the other day? One of my friends was talking about how they like Newegg. They get updates and stuff from them, and they were doing like, oh, you can try and buy the graphics card for this much, and then we had the discussion about how, oh yeah, it's available now, but the price you'd be paying for it, you could have built a whole new system a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
I mean, it's highway robbery, and then shit like this is happening too. Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't have minded trying to learn how to put a computer together and have a nice little gaming setup, but if this shit's going on, yeah, no, I'm turned off. I'd rather go
Yeah,
to Walmart and
especially
buy
if you want
myself.
the really good ones.
Right. At this point, if that's the case, I'd much rather go to Walmart and Best Buy, get a stock system, and then bitch about my lag.
Well, you mentioned Newegg. That's a good repository for laptops. That's where I got mine. Works like a dream. At
I
least
mean,
with a lot of stuff, they have different flavors for different things too. Like you can change out the graphics and the processor
yeah.
itself and the graphics processor and sometimes the sound card and how big it
Mhm.
is and shit like that.
Yeah, I know. I'm due for a new laptop because mine's almost what 10 years old at this point. The
Damn.
last year or so, yeah, I switched. It was to the point that the hard drive in my computer was still still a disk, and I just switched it out to solid state drive in the last year or so.
Okay.
But outside of that, I can't even upgrade to the newest Windows system because the specs on my computer doesn't qualify it for.
That makes sense.
And it was supposed to be a really good computer